because this is, sorry, just fixing this incomprehensible situation. Welcome to my life. I am super sleep deprived, but I slept a bit last night. I moved yesterday, but I really can't let go easily as one of, like, it's just me. And also it's also part of my autism, because one of the core symptoms of autism is resistance to change. It's one of the core symptoms because no, it's not now. Oh my god, I just spilled water. Anyways, I'm super hyped and excited because I moved out of my old place yesterday, but it was so challenging. The move was so challenging. I haven't left my old place yet. So I slept here, the African way. As you might be able to see, that's where, yes, the sleeping quarters are located, situated. And I'm gonna show you around. All right. Let me show you around. Fix this, oops. Sorry about this. So now this is fixed. Kind of. Okay, welcome. Today we're gonna start the day. I'm so funny. I'm in another state of timelines reality right now. I don't know what's going on, but it's fun here. It's fun. We have a beautiful, bright day actually, and yeah, I'm struggling. I'm struggling to let this go, to let my home go. Nothing is here anymore, pretty much. It still feels like my space though, because I have my suitcase and my most important things around me. I don't have a laptop right now, so even my desktop is here now, just living its life. The setup is really funny. I might show you later. I'm sitting on the sofa and my laptop is standing on the box. My desktop. I'm like, wow. It's so amusing to be here, but also so weird. And basically, I am really struggling to let go. I think that's why I came back here last night to sleep in my empty apartment, because letting go, my first actual home that I built for myself, as in, it's the first place where I lived on my own, and I love living alone. Hey everyone, welcome. And now leaving that place it was really overwhelming yesterday. We had 3 stops to place all the boxes and bed and sofa and all those things. So I had 3 guys there. One was, it was a nice team. It was okay. But basically everything took super long. We had to make 3 stops because there was not enough space. And no shade, sorry, I can't hide my facial expressions. Not right now. There was no space, so we had to go to other stops as well. Thank you so much, Sudkaba. I hope I'm saying your name right. Sorry, I'm very, not so good at reading in pressure situations. Anyways, so this is where I slept. Let me show you. It was actually cozy. I was like, I can do this. I've seen my cousin do it a bunch of times. This is the African way. It's not gonna kill me, so I was just sleeping here basically. That was my setup. That was me the whole night. And it's actually very cozy. I put cartons underneath and a bunch of blankets. And it's okay, that's where my bed used to be situated, located. And now, basically, I can't show you so much, but I'm sitting on the sofa, and now I've been contemplating. I wanted to get breakfast, to be honest, but as all my cooking items are no longer here, that's water on my shirt, by the way, ignore it, please. I found some peanut butter, and that's what we're having. I just realized it's a bit dirty here now because I spilled water. Well, either way, my favorite food is rice, basmati rice, and jasmine rice, but mostly basmati rice, especially the one in the blue bag from Tilda. What's your favorite food? Well, I'm super. Like, I can eat 5 kilos of rice a month. I have a rice cooker. Rice is usually part of my every meal. It's my favorite thing ever. And I don't get sick of eating it ever as well. So then I wanted to explain to you some of my reasons behind why I'm still here. I don't want to say I'm refusing to leave, but I kind of am, because that I'm sleeping here on the floor, although I actually had a friend's place to stay at. But then, because of how stressed out I was yesterday, and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So I went to hang out with some friends. It was really fun. And I was like, yeah, it's time to let go. Like, I know it's time to let go. But in reality, I do pay rent till the end of the month. And yes, all my stuff is gone now because it had to be moved, because how I planned this move, guys, and what I'm doing is insane. I'm gonna tell you all when it's over, to not, ruin anything. And and what I'm, this is really good. I can't talk while I'm eating peanut butter. So sorry. Okay, let's go. I'm from India. Okay. Into Chinese stuff. I love Indonesian food. I discovered this year that I love Indonesian food. But I want to get more good, like actually authentic and good Indonesian food. What I was trying to say about, for example, autism, or like its core symptoms. I'm talking about this because I'm autistic, and I'm trying to go through a journey of not shaming myself for being who I am. Let me leave some light into this room, as I'm not enjoying the grainy picture quality. Yes, I'm a perfectionist. That is right. It makes me do tedious things to have things how I want them in my life, being a perfectionist, as well as it also makes my life very beautiful because I appreciate the tiny things, the details. Where in India are you from? India is big. Let me know. And for everyone who's confused, I was speaking to someone on the stream. Okay, bye bye. So nice that you were here. Have a good day. And yeah, let me elaborate some of the core symptoms of autism, as that was what I wanted to get into. To explain why this is so hard for me and how I'm actually fascinated that I haven't had a meltdown from all the stress and change that occurred yesterday. I'm so funny with my peanut butter. I'm just very happy, guys, and also I'm very happy and excited for this change. It's a big period of change. And yes, I'm moving out of my apartment without having a new one because the market here is crazy. Finding an apartment is hard right now. But luckily I have amazing friends, acquaintances, and friends of friends who really make this period of time so much more livable and endurable for me. Excuse me. Okay, trying to do it ladylike. Okay. Anyways, the core symptoms of autism are, we can divide it into 2 parts to actually explain what I wanted to explain since the whole video. We can divide it into 2 parts. Depends on what you do with the shout out. Send me some of your stuff, send me some of your art, then I can look at it. And basically the core symptoms of autism are can be divided into two parts: social communication difficulties and restricted repetitive behaviors and interests. That is what autism is. Autism is a spectrum. It's not linear. It's more like a spider web. You can imagine it like a spider web. Yeah. And I can show you an image. I'm gonna make actually a really informative, oh my god, video on it in another video, a live stream. And basically, the restrictive repetitive behaviors and interests is very important because that's where change comes into the whole autism equation. Yes, please send some art. Oh, I don't have a PO box yet, but I'm gonna organize that. That's actually such a good idea. And also, maybe you can send me some images, videos, or anything like that. I'd like to see. And basically, so autistic people, we have narrow, extreme, I would say extremely passionate, intense interests in specific topics, which are called special interests or short SPIN. And basically, special interests, like my special interest is obviously, how you can tell by this video, by this whole YouTube channel, is about mental health, specifically being a late diagnosed Black autistic person with ADHD. And on this channel I basically show you how it impacts my life, how I accommodate myself, how I try to make my life easier, how my surroundings help me to deal with this disability. And yeah, that's what it's about. And a big important part of autism is the need for structured routine / resistance to change, or can become upset. Okay, the wording is funny here in this Instagram post by just to quote Dr. Roseanne. Yes, I said it right. On Instagram. And basically how the need for structure, routine and resistance to change shows up in me, for example, is that I can get really upset by unforeseen changes, but I found ways to cope with it on my own without putting the other party in some kind of weird feeling or situation, or like panic, or like feeling pressured, because that's not my intention. Like, I don't want to pressure anyone to hang out with me or something, you know. And basically, so routine is very important for us autistic people, and many of us have a very strict routine throughout our lives, like whether it's not just the morning routine or evening routine, but it's very specific in the order how you have to go through things, because routine provides stability and comfort, and stability is comforting, and it's familiar, and our brain likes familiar things, and therefore it's easier for us to regulate also our sensory issues and sensitivities, because in routine things are more foreseeable and not as unexpected, and don't always require us to do some kind of navigating that is just overwhelming in that moment. So basically, moving for some autistic people can be very traumatic, can actually be traumatic. Like, research it. I'm also gonna post something about it here soon. For me, I was very surprised yesterday that I didn't have a meltdown, but I was coping at it at the end of the day, not in the healthiest way, but also in a very fun way. I was hanging out with friends, having a little kiki, and yeah, it was fun. It was really fun, actually. It made my day. Yesterday, after all the stress, moving, packing, it's a nightmare for my brain. So basically, with autism and ADHD, new sentence. With autism and ADHD, what I have in my brain, is called executive dysfunction. And executive dysfunction shows up in people with autism and ADHD. I have both, so it's I don't know if that makes it more intense, but it is impacting my life on a daily basis, because it means that it's very hard for me to start and finish tasks. It's hard for my brain to retain working memory while I'm doing a task. It is hard to organize, structure, and prioritize things. And you know how it is as an adult or as a teen. You know how it is. It's what you're required to do all day, every day as an adult. Like that's what it feels like. Even though I'm active, like I work in the creative industries, you know, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a professional dancer, I make YouTube, so it's like, it's a lot of structuring and I don't want this anymore. It's the peanut butter I've been holding. I don't know where to put it. Unsettling. Okay, I'll put it here and throw it away. Okay, ignore that. And basically, it's funny because my brain is like a conundrum. I hope I used that word correctly now. I think so. My brain is like a conundrum. It's many contradictions, as we humans all feel all the time. Like so many, two different things and multiple very different things can coexist at once and influence each other. That's what life is made out of, I feel like, you know. There's no clear structure and the rules are always changing. This is why it's so hard for people on the autism spectrum to navigate through day-to-day life, as most human interactions and social things are so unforeseeable that the rules always change depending on the context. And always interpreting that and reading it in an accurate way, or in a way that shows us the whole picture of what's going on, not just some details of it, is very difficult. And basically, the conundrum in my brain, to get back to that, is the two parts, like directions I feel like I'm being pulled into, but it's also one at the same time. It's the ADHD part in my brain and the autism part in my brain. And it's like, it feels like I'm, like my ADHD side craves dopamine. So I thrive, so we all thrive off like dopamine, you know, but like my brain thrives off novelty. Basically, I have an interest-based nervous system, which means that stuff that gives my brain dopamine and keep me like engaged and like are interesting to my brain, and new things are interesting to ADHD brains. But then to my autism, it can be quite unsettling because I don't have to reevaluate the whole situation, put all the considerable like variables into the calculation to judge, to have a not correct, but to judge what is going on in a holistic way when I'm in a social situation or any situation. Yeah, that's the best way I can break it down. Then also a big part of autism is ritualistic behaviors, lining up objects, repeatedly touching objects in a set order. That, for example, for me, my brain likes sorting things, and it can be very calming when it's not a difficult sorting thing where you have to like, it's not a puzzle or something. It has to be something simple. For example, lining things up, or like sorting things through color, or in a way that the color pattern feels right to me. I like to do that a lot. And that's a coping strategy and a soothing strategy that I've been using, and also a form of play, I think, that I've been doing since I was a child. Like I've always played like that. And it's important to mention that the order or the way I line up, as a child, I line up my toys in, or I sort things, or the items I collect in a bag. To someone else, it might not look like there's an order or system to it at all whatsoever. That's important to mention, because, you know, being autistic and having ADHD also means, yeah, we're trying to wake up here, wake my hair up. Also means, train of thought, where are you? Train of thought. Yeah, it also means having difficulties with like, I forgot what I was going to say. I'm not going to pretend that I remember when my brain just deleted it. It will come back. Anyways, and something that's very calming to me, I even have my coping box here. Can I show you my coping box of how I cope? This is useful for anyone, whether you have ADHD and autism or not. You have a brain, which means you get into stressful situations. So I'm going to show you some ways how I regulate when I'm home and have access to these things. And it's not complete as I'm moving, and everything therefore is like a mess. And oh my god, I had to make so many decisions yesterday. It was actually making me so aggressive at some point because it was overwhelming. I felt when it was too much, and I said I can't anymore. Ich kann nicht mehr. That's what I said to my mom, and it's like, ich kann nicht mehr, ich kann echt nicht mehr, ich kann nicht mehr. And then I got stuck in the circle thing, and it's like, ich kann nicht mehr, ich muss jetzt aussteigen, ich muss jetzt aussteigen. Like at some point my brain was like, I'm full, this is enough, I cannot do this anymore. Like, I was even saying, leave my things on the street, I don't care. Like the van can leave my things on the street or put them anywhere, because it was not all of my stuff at this point, mostly furniture. But I was so done and overwhelmed with the move and with the whole situation that I was like, I can't do this. If you do this, Mom, like if you go to the places with them where they were supposed to put the other stuff, thank you so much, thank you. If you don't, it's okay. I just feel I can't do this now. Because if I would have pushed beyond that point, I would have had a meltdown or like a shutdown. I feel like it was before like a shutdown already, or like, because the whole day I felt like screaming. Because so many things didn't go as planned, and that's also one way where I'm like, reluctance to change shows up in autism. Is like when things don't go in a planned way, and then dealing with that emotional frustration and trying to cope with that can be so challenging, and to think of the right tools to use in that stressful situation is hard. So let me show you some of my tools. A funny thing is this one. What is it? It collects the fuzzy weird parts on clothes. No one likes them. I don't like them. And this is one of my coping things in my coping toolbox, as it can be so soothing. It has like, sounds like this. And what I basically then would do, let's grab an example, a little demonstration, is like, okay, I think I'm destroying my sock now while doing this, but that's basically what I do on pillows when I feel like, okay, I'm coming home from outside, which is always quite dysregulating for my nervous system, as it's always overwhelming, because being autistic means you don't have a filter, as in not when speaking. Yes, some people don't have a filter, but that's not what I mean. It means that our brains get constant, like loads of information all the time, We see lights, we smell smells, we perceive people, we hear people, or we see people, or we feel that someone is close. And being autistic means you don't, like, actually it's like a window. Your brain like is inside, and it's like a window, and you don't have, there's many flies and mosquitoes flying out there, aka sensory input is coming in, but you don't have a mosquito net. But everyone else who's not autistic, all the allistic people, have a mosquito net. So a lot more sensory information goes through our brains, like is perceived, like our brains are constantly like this, basically. And my psychologist, who I had my assessment with, who's an autism specialist, she explained to me, and neurotypical people, or like allistic people, have more like a brain, like not a brain, but as filter system like this, and are more like, can receive information like this. And mine is always like, and it's quite overwhelming. So coping with that stress, it helps me to use this and defluff my things, or like sofa items, so pillows, because it's very soothing, it's repetitive. I clearly have a task, and it's just very soothing. And I do this sometimes for 15 minutes, half an hour, to calm down from being overwhelmed. Because as an autistic person, the world is basically overwhelming. That's the best way I can describe it. Everything can be quite overwhelming, because to most things our brain are either hypersensitive to or hypo, which means not sensitive to. So for example, there's also some like studies about basically some autistic people having hypersensitivity to pain, which means you don't feel, for example, when you're outside, how cold you actually are, or you're not so, I don't want to say in touch, but certain pain sensations can just feel less painful to you. because your nervous system and your brain processes the information like that. But then it also is so interesting. It's a spectrum, right? Autism spectrum, because it can also vary in terms of that your brain might. Sorry, I got distracted. Hi, welcome to this live stream. That's why I lost my train of thought. But the other topic, another symptom, symptom is also, okay, that's weird. Yeah, repetitive motions with objects. For example, it's called stimming. What autistic people do is stimming, which is basically repetitive motions, repetitive movements, for example, with objects. And for example, the difference for people with ADHD is that fidgeting, like stimming, like fidgeting is something we all do. Like whether it's that, whether it's clicking with a pen, whether it's having your leg, whether it's like swaying a bit side to side, or like being a bit like this, like that's, it can be fidgeting. But when autistic people do it in a way that is repetitive, and when it's with an object or in a rhythm or in a beat or in some kind of way that feels soothing, then it's called stimming. And for example, I can show you, I can actually demonstrate you some of the ways I stim in, because I think, because it helps me to focus and it's also calming for me. And there's always some kind of rhythm going on in my body. I'm sure if you are autistic or have ADHD, you can relate to this. Maybe ADHD not, I don't know. But I always have a melody in my head, or always a rhythm in some part of my body, whether it's here, whether it's like my toes, whether it's my toes doing some kind of scrunching motion in a certain rhythm, whether I'm like this, and also when I'm in public. And the thing is also with stimming, I don't notice it. And what is the difference between fidgeting and stimming? It's like fidgeting, we all do it, like, and especially ADHD, people with ADHD a lot, and it can also look like this. But then fidgeting, I think, comes from a place of restlessness, and stimming comes from a place of needing to soothe and having a repetitive motion, and that's just how autistic brains soothe themselves from before born, since from birth till the person leaves this earth, right? The physical plane. I've been so spiritual recently, that's also what's been helping me with this move. That I basically watch a lot of universe documentaries to not take everything that's happening so personally, because the grand scheme of things is grander than grand, is infinite, and that sometimes relaxes me, that realization, and watching documentaries about the universe, or also a bit more like spiritual ones, or I don't want to say conspiracy, but some people might call it as conspiracy, you know, like about like inner earth theory and Antarctica and stuff. And I'm like, I need more information on those topics, like conspiracy theories. If you speak about this, give me more information. Like if you're actually gonna dive into that conspiracy, give me all the information. Don't always copy the other story of the other YouTuber, what they said about Antarctica and like aliens there and stuff. Like if you give me a conspiracy, give me the full theory, give me the full thing, like give me all the ins and outs of it. I want to know, I want to theorize about it. I want to imagine if it's real. I want to not even imagine. I think a lot of my fantasy, like escapism, some of it happens through reading and researching conspiracy theories, I think. Does any one of you know that? Because it can be soothing to have like so many different explanations for why things are or might be how they are, and it's just, yeah, it's very interesting. It's just, I love it. My brain loves it, and especially learning about extraterrestrials, aliens, and like galaxies, understanding the vastness of the universe, and also learning about certain atomic and energetic relations and things that are going on. Let's go back to the original topic, which is stimming. What does stimming look like? For example, stimming might look like this. Like when I'm really excited, I'd be like this. Ignore my bruise. I've been running into boxers since the last few weeks, right? So when I stim, a little demonstration, When I'm in the store trying to select something, like I saw, and this is not, I'm not saying when you stim or when you do this, you have autism or you're ADHD. That's not what I'm saying at all. These things are developmental disorders, which means that they're from before birth, like they develop with the years, as in that they're since you're a child. Your brain is already like that, you know? So it's something that happens along the process, and it's a variation in it's just neurodiversity. It's normal that some people's brains autistic. Like it's not, I think it is a disability. I mean, it can be super disabling, and it is. And it also can come with amazing, like, of course we can develop amazing skills for our special interests as autistic people. But I do want to say that is, it's nothing you can develop. You cannot develop autism and become autistic all of a sudden. What you can get is a late diagnosis. But the whole process of pursuing that diagnosis is hard. But I still recommend it to everyone because it's good to know. It's good to know. It's really good to know because you're gonna be able to treat your body, your nervous system, everything differently. Okay, that was a sound. And yes, stimming example. So for example, when let's actually make this a scene, right? When I'm at the store shopping, something I might be doing is like this, when I'm trying to decide, because it helps me focus, and also it's just natural. Most of the time I don't notice when I do these things, like they're very, very subconscious. The only time I try to notice is when I'm in dance class, and when we're supposed to stand like this, I make sure that I don't do this. Because a stimming can look like this for me, when I'm waiting. It can also look like walking up and down, or walking in circles. Many people know that when they're on the phone, they're like, da, 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 right? And then, it's so funny, there's so much uncertainty in my life right now, but I'm so happy because I think the move worked. That's why I'm so happy right now, but I'm like, why am I so happy? Because I slept again more than 2 hours last night, that is good as well. And I think I'm happy because I'm excited for my new flat, but also I'm excited about all the possibilities, you know, I could go traveling instead of paying rent and stuff. But then I also want a home and stability because this has been life-changing, this flat for me. Like, it has actually made my life amazing, and so much of my art, like, and my being able to settle, and ways to find to cope with being a human in this world. Like, really, I love this flat. And I'm so grateful for it. I'm also here to say, not bye to it, but to say, see you later or something. Because it helps me that the ending is not that, you know, forever, ever, over. I can't cope with these things well. I can't, especially when I love a thing, a place, an object, a person, a community. I'm not good with endings like this, you know, like guillotine endings. Nah, don't do that shit to me. Okay. Anyways, I miss this flat. I love you, flat. I love everything about you. And I'm so grateful because I manifested this whole entire thing. Every item that used to be in here, manifested, worked for it, did all kinds of things, like, and tried so many things and found so many ways to make it work so it became the flat I wanted it to be. Anyways, other forms of stimming might be just like an object, I don't know. What you see many kids do, and also adults, like spinning is another form of stimming. When you know it, you know, it can be so nice and fun. And then the feeling, woo! And then, no, I'm dizzy actually, I need to drink more water. Dehydrando, okay. And yeah, when I'm excited, you see me like, sometimes like it's, you know, when you're really excited and it's, yeah, the whole body is taken over. And, like, I'm sure you all know this, like, we're all human and autistic people are human. So all the things on the spectrum are part of the human experience. So we all might experience or do them sometimes. But autistic means that it is your life, like you do these things, you have to do these things, your brain naturally does these things to stay well, to stay okay, to cope with being on this planet when so much is coming, too much is coming through your filter, your mosquito net, when it has massive holes or just big squares where any kind of bird can even fly in, you know? That's what autistic brains tend to be like. And yes, I don't know other stimming examples I don't want to do now because I haven't analyzed my own like behaviors and like relation to like stimming and stuff like that yet. Like I really haven't. So I'm just trying things out. Okay, I do like this. No, but let's just leave it natural. And excuse me. Oh my god, my voice is like I'm getting tired. Wow, we've been on here for 40 minutes. I didn't realize. Okay. I muted my whole phone. No clue who's been trying to reach me. Someone is trying to help me move my other things, right, to the new place where I might be staying. So, yeah, anyways. I'm not going to go into the social communication difficulties of autistic people. This was more about the behavior and about the resistance to change. And I'm going to read something very beautiful to you that's also very autism. Resistance. Let's read this together. Because I know there's beautiful examples. One thing you see in every autistic child is a need for routine. Now imagine being autistic and ADHD. My mom also has ADHD, right? So it's like routine, and keeping a routine is very hard for her. For me too. That's the thing. It's like I need routine, but it can be so hard for me to stick to it, to build a routine. It took me years to build routines. And even now, I'm like, but now that I established them, I realize how much comfort, safety, and how easy also they make my life. And you know what I started doing? I work a lot with pictures of tasks, like for example, a toothbrush or like stuff like that. And I really want to make a beautiful accommodation wall for myself where I just see the steps of the routine in pictures. And that's something that also my psychologist recommended me, was like pictogramme. It's called pictograms. It's very useful for autistic brains because it's like my autopilot is not functioning. That's how I feel like every day, right? So it's like when I do my morning routine, I need pictures that tell me the steps and the order to do things in, so I don't every time have to like sit down for a minute and think of what is the thing that I'm supposed to do first. Get up and go to the bathroom, and then turn on the water, brush my teeth, and then like toothpaste, like every steps that it takes to get a task done, like showering, has so many in between steps, and when they are broken up into pieces, or when there's an order suggested in pictures, because it's easier for my brain to see pictures than read, I would say, and thinking in pictures, you know, it's the whole thing about autistic brains, thinking visually, or also in our own systems of some people think visually in numbers and with patterns, and systems that they build to then understand the world. Like it's very interesting. Is what my psychologist told me in the autism group I'm in. Yes, that's what I was saying. Basically, why changes are hard. Harder for children with autism. I'm also going to say adults, because autism is nothing that is outgrown. It is a neurotype. So basically, it might... okay, that's a good example because it really explains why that is. It is. Because, for example, autistic people, we have sensory processing issues. Or sensory processing differences. Some people prefer that word. And I'm going to read this to you because this explains it so well. Children with autism, people with autism, often experience sensory processing differences, making them hypersensitive or sensitive to sensory information. These sensitivities can make them feel overwhelmed in unfamiliar environments or situations, resulting in heightened anxiety and resistance to change. I think resistance to change is put like it's some kind of almost like negative, like you're being stubborn, but that's what ADHD is, but mostly autistic behavior is often misinterpreted as being stubborn or throwing tantrums, which is not the case, because actually it's our entire being, our entire nervous system, our entire body and brains being completely overwhelmed. Okay, staying as I want it to stay. I don't want my things to get wobbly from moving. You know how things destabilize when you move, like furniture or other items. I like when my things function, because I like my items. I kept so many items. My mom was like, pack one suitcase. And I was like, no, I'm packing 2 suitcases and 1 massive box. Because I still need to go through the items what I really don't need. Because these are all my favorite items. I all want them with me. Not all the time, but at least the place where I sleep. And basically, the resistance to change in autistic children are also people with the PDA profile of autism, which means pathological demand avoidance or persistent demand for autonomy. That's what it is. That's what my brain needs in order to feel safe. And it's very interrupting my life, and I have to find ways to trick up my brain to get things done, because demands put me in an overwhelmed state, and it can be perceived demands as well, so it doesn't even have to be a real demand from the outside. And then preferences for routine and familiarity in autism, right? Let's read this. For people with autism, the preference for routine and familiarity can make embracing change a real struggle. It's not that they're resistant to change on purpose, but rather that their brains crave consistency and predictability to feel safe and comfortable. And that's exactly what I meant with that the change or resistance to change in autistic people does not come from a place, or usually does not come from a place of I don't want to do this, or I like out of stubbornness, or just wanting to be oppositional. Usually not. I mean, it can be, of course, but like it's usually not that. And I'll replace this here, maybe right. Myself. All right, and yes, and then, for example, how change is difficult. For example, like for me is now, I don't have to be in my old empty apartment. Like, yeah, there's still stuff laying around because that needs to be sorted, and my brain can't sort through things anymore because I've been packing and making decisions about keeping this box, or this box for the past week so much, like it actually is making me aggressive already and stressing me out thinking about it even now. Okay. It's too much. And basically, then what it says here is also even small alterations to our daily routines as autistic people can be incredibly disruptive and distressing for us. For example, something as seemingly insignificant as different route back to school, or different breakfast, or an item that I want to wear that can't be found, for example, could throw our whole day off balance. And that is because it literally can, and it happened to me, and it happens to me so many times, and it's not something that I can always overcome through willpower or just getting over it, because that's just simply not how my brain works. It's as simple as that. And basically, autism and ADHD is genetic. It's very, very genetic. Usually, when a kid has autism or ADHD, at least usually one parent is also autistic, or the great parent or the great grandparent, or your cousin's mother, or your great grandfather. Like, you know, there's always is a genetic, it's very heritable, and in terms of which parts someone struggles with, in terms of how the autistic traits and also the disabling traits show up, and to which intensity, and if someone can speak, if someone is non-verbal, if someone can mask. I have high masked autism, And I'm trying to unmask it as much as I can, but some of these mechanisms have become so ingrained in my brain and so automatic and unconscious that I don't even notice a lot of the time when I mask. But now, through therapy and also my self-research about autism, and then connecting the points of how it actually shows up in me and my life and my brain, because that's always a hard part, like for late diagnosed people, I think, to get from understanding this is the theoretical knowledge of what people like me experience, not versus, but leading to how this actually shows up in my life. And this is a concrete example that I can give you, for example. And yeah, people like, I don't want to get into the levels discussion of autism, because I really don't care for it now, like not now. And Google has such stupid questions. People also ask, autistic people resilient? Is your mother resilient? Sorry. But like, sometimes being on the internet just pisses me off. Hello, welcome. How are you today? And basically the resistance to change also shows up in adults, as for example when it can be in a workplace when a meeting is cancelled, and what physiological response and mental response and state it puts then the autistic adult in. Can be so like specific. Yeah, you good? How are you? Basically also using knee swaying or rocking is also a form of stimming, of self-stimulatory behavior that my body naturally does as an autistic person. And it's nothing bad as long as I don't cause others harm or myself through how I stim. It's okay to stim. And I just want people to know that actually that is quite, like, it's normal to be autistic. It's normal, as in it is a part of human variance in how brains work. It is okay. And yes, it can be a severe disability. And yes, autistic people, we need a lot of care and support in order to function. And it is okay, because some people have diabetes and some people have high blood pressure, and they're not alien for it, because of it. So humanizing each other, I think, is one of the most beautiful things we can do for each other as humans on this planet, and not dehumanizing each other, and listening to people's experiences, but also listening from a place of not wanting to push a belief or narrative that you have, but that actually goes, like, that is actually just also listening, giving the person an ear, is hard. And for me, for example, as an autistic person, I need a cue to do that. Yes, I've come to like build patterns to recognize, like in my brain, of when a situation is in a way that I have to, or that I should just listen. But I usually tell like friends and also partners, like I say, hey, please tell me the thing you need concretely. I need you to tell me, because otherwise I might not pick up on it. And then if you get angry at me for not picking up on it and resent me or get weird about it and don't say it in words, I'm gonna feel it, and it's not gonna be nice, and I don't appreciate it, because I deserve to also know what's going on. And that's why I found out for myself that I need friends and people in my life to communicate with me. If you don't communicate, through whichever way, it doesn't always have to be words, but if you at least say, hey, something is irritating me right now, I don't want to talk about it, cool, say that to me. But don't just walk next to me weirdly. Like, I know that expressing emotions and being vulnerable and stuff is not easy, and it does not come natural to everyone. And many of us are traumatized that we never learned how. Or we were taught it's a bad thing to speak about our feelings, perspectives, and emotional experience, which, in my opinion, is the most damaging thing we can teach to any human, to any being. And let me read what someone said. Mostly I'm just out the autism. Hey, that's good to know that also someone else who's autistic and has anxiety is watching. Thanks, because I never know who's watching, you know. And so I'm like, I'm happy that you found this channel. I'm really happy you're here. Stimming. But yes, this is a thing often when you don't know where to place your arms, or autistic people I heard is like just here. I don't know where my arms, like I know where I try to keep them, because I had this weirdest thing about, I have long limbs, right? And I'm tall, so the weirdest thing about where should I keep my arms as a teenager, especially, you know, when you're not so comfortable in your body, and everything is changing. It's like my arms, I think a lot of the time I looked like a ballerina because I did a lot of ballet, and I just stood in that really nicely held body posture. Let me show you. And dinosaur arms and tiptoe walking. Yes, tiptoe walking is so common, like it's so common. I'm gonna go to my friends because it's always dominating. Parenting is so scared of strangers. Oh, I'm sorry that hanging out with like strangers scares you and is so anxiety provoking. But I'm happy that you have friends that you like to hang out with. That's like something I can recommend to anyone who is not really into socializing. Once you have friends who are willing to hang out with you in a setting that is comfortable to you, and they treat you, and friends care about how they make you feel. That's what I want to say to everyone. Friends care about how they make you feel, or they should care. And if they do not care, you should demand that care. And if they do not listen, you can tell them, look, I'm leaving if you don't listen. Or I'm doing this when you don't listen. And that's how we make good friends in this world. I really want everyone to have amazing friends, because I'm like, through this change of like, this whole thing of moving, this is not my new apartment. I do not have a new space yet, but I have one. I know it's already there waiting for me. I already know. I'm just like still hanging on to this because I'm like, no, I know this, like, this is my almost perfect space, not perfect. That's also why I'm moving, but no, it was also time to move. I need more space, and in the city where I live, it's affordable, so that's what I'm gonna do. What did I want to show first? My posture. It doesn't matter. I'm only friends. Oh, yeah, but also like, you know, for me, I have a lot of neurodivergent friends, so we all, like, and many of us know about each other's like conditions, or like, you know, diagnosis, and we speak about it quite openly, which is something that really helped me. Like my close friends, my best friends, like we speak about all that stuff all the time, because it's us, like, because it's part of our lives. And I understand that like friends who are not so familiar with those topics, or are like not in touch with, I don't know, where they are at, or who think they don't even know autistic people, although they know you and they know a bunch of other people, like, but they just don't know about it or what it is. It's like, it can be very challenging. And how is that for you? Your friends thinking like that you feel, or that you think your friends think you're weird? Is it weirdness in a bad kind of sense, or is it weirdness in a like goofy, like fun kind of sense, or how does it, what do you mean by that? I would need some elaboration. Because weirdness can mean so many things, right? And to me, weird usually, like, it's also connotated negatively in my brain, but it can be something so super positive, and so and it is positive, because for me, like, I realized as a teen I was like, normal is boring. I read this on a Tumblr post, like someone drew a picture like in nice letters and was like, normal is boring. I was like, this is the most brilliant quote ever. Like, me at 11, I was like, it's true, normal is boring. Normal is fucking boring. And I say that also because I don't fit into the norms of where I live. And even if I lived in a place where people look like me, I wouldn't fit into their norms either. Oops, why am I moving? And because my toes are fidgeting and like wiggling, you know, that's why. And I don't notice when I do it. So often I had partners tell me in the past, you know, like, can you please stop doing that? Or like, sometimes I even stim on other people's like bodies, you know, when you're close with someone, you might like hold their arm or stuff, and then sometimes I would do like find like ways, because to me just naturally, like, this makes sense. Like, it's a movement, it's a bone, it feels nice to just like be on it, you know, and move, and I don't even realize I'm doing it. And sometimes I'm like, someone said, "Can you stop?" And that's when I feel weird. I'm like, sorry, I didn't like I don't take it very anymore, but that's when I feel weird, and I'm like, oh no, I'm disturbing this person, but I'm actually doing this thing that comes naturally to me and I didn't mean to do it. Okay, let me find something else to, yeah. But a lot of it happens not consciously, in the sense of I don't go up to strangers and touch them, that's not what I mean. But for example, my dog, like, I also like to always play with her ears because they're extra soft and stuff. Like, yeah, it's just sensory things. Is sensory regulation through engaging with senses you find nice as an autistic person, or even as someone with anxiety in general, but especially as an autistic person. It's not always good to start with the thought approach of what's going on, logical thinking, but often to do some kind of physical act, some stimming, something that feels nice to you, that doesn't feel nice today. Ew, I really didn't appreciate that. I need something else, I need something soft. I don't know where my plushies are. I am someone, I love plushies. I was a child obsessed with plushies. Please leave me a like if you are enjoying this stream, it would really help me out. And what did you write? My friends are neurodivergent. It's like, what do you mean you have autism? I mean you can't talk, oh boy. Okay, I hear you. Which country do you live in, if you don't mind me asking? Because yes, like, most people do not know about autism or what autism is. I'm realizing that, and that's why I'm also here. You know, that's why I'm here on this channel. I'm like, autism is da da da, autism can be da da, because I'm like, I'm sick of people not knowing what autism is, because it's something that has been misunderstood or not researched enough, or only researched for certain groups of people for decades, hundreds of years. And autistic people is nothing new. Like, you know, we've always existed. Like, it's, yeah, like, I almost stay away from environments where people don't like, or are not willing to learn about what autism is, you know, because, like, as in when I hang out with friends, and when I say friends, I mean close friends. Like, all my friends are my best friends. There's more distant friends, yes, but like when I hang out a lot with you, and like when you're close, like live close by or something, and you're a good friend, then forgot what I was gonna say. I really forgot. I'm sorry. But let me read what you say. Understand. Germany. Okay. And how? Yes, Albert Einstein was autistic. Indeed, that is true. Understand that I have bad rats and it's fresh socks, guys. Yeah. So ignore me. They are baby rats and soft and. Yeah, because before, for everyone who's like new here now, we were talking about stimming and like what comforting items or like sensations or like touching and like petting and what motions we like. Also, like, I was speaking about my dog and stuff, and Coffee Unicorn Savage was speaking about the baby rats. That's cute. Are they cute? I don't know how to imagine. Yeah. Oh, but soft. Yes, I'm sure they're very soft. Oh, cute. I had hamsters when I was a child. I had so many pets in my life. Oh my god, not so many, but they were all precious. Like my bunny, as a child, I had like a cute bunny. You know, those, like, he was black with hanging ears, and he came from Styria, from the countryside. He was so cute. Me and mom picked him up, and I think I got him, was that after the divorce of my parents? I don't know. No, after, I think. And he was a baby, Felix. His name was Felix. I named him Felix, and Felix was my brother. And it might sound funny, but I think actually this is also an autistic thing, because, like, basically, scroll back in time. As a child, I had many imaginary siblings. I had an imaginary dog. I had an imaginary twin. I had a bigger brother and an older sister, and they had also a boyfriend and girlfriend. It's so interesting, right? I had an imaginary family, like, who would pick me up from kindergarten and stuff, like, and yeah, it was fun. And to go back to what I was saying, that's how you lose the train of thought. Oh no. What was I saying? Please help me. What was I saying last? Imaginary friends, family, Why is it so dark now? I still have so much to do today. Like, you don't want to see the state of this. The suitcases are not closed. I'm voicing the people in my brain. Voicing, do you mean like echolalia? Like you repeat the words that other people say in your brain? Yeah, sorry, the thought that I had about speaking about imaginary friends and siblings. Yes, I had a pet rabbit. Thank you, brain. It was my own brain that brought it back. I had a pet rabbit, and he was my brother. And I think it's an autistic thing because, like, sometimes people are like, yeah, autistic people can get very attached to inanimate objects. I find that weird, like, word so weird because it's like, yes, it's an object, but do you not know everything? The universe, everything is energy. Everything vibrates constantly at different frequencies, and it's like, yes, I get attached to certain things, like, and especially as children, you know, we all get attached to plushies or certain toys or certain items. But basically, there's this whole thing about, like, what I wanted to say is, Felix was my brother. Like, my pet bunny back then, he was my brother. I don't know if that makes sense. But to me, it was actually, he felt like a brother. Like, all of y'all are gonna be like, what is wrong with this only child on the internet? And I'm like, well, I'm not an only child anymore. I have younger siblings. I have very adorable, lovely younger siblings. But yeah, like, as a child, I saw Felix as my brother. And he got old. He got very old for a bunny. I forgot how old, but I think 7, if I'm not mistaken, or was it 11? No, it was not 11. One time my rats were sleeping. I was like, hi, bears, you sleepy? Yes, I always speak to my, like, I always, because I don't treat my dog also so how some people think animals are treated. Why is it getting dark now? Why is it raining? I can't deal with this. This is not convenient for my move. It's raining. I still have to move. Look at this. Like, look at this. This is not the bathroom. This is the crazy part here. Yeah. But I still have to do today. Yes, highest pitch voice. I also always use a very high pitch voice when I speak to my dog, especially when she's being cute. I'm like, hi, baby. Okay, not so high. I'm like, beep, beep, boop, boop, boop. That's how I speak to my dog. Watch my YouTube shorts. You'll see my dog there, Rue. She's adorable. She's a golden retriever. She has such a big personality, and her looks, her facial expressions, they say everything. She doesn't need words. She speaks, and I learned so much about dog body language, you know, before getting her and while having her. And that's how we understand each other, because we found a common language, and the non-autistic people should find common language with us autistic people as individuals, because we are all individuals at the end of the day, as well. Like in any relationship, we need to find like ways how we can with each other so we can have a good time. All right, everyone. So sorry I'm going now. It's really like pouring, like so much rain outside, and I still have to do this. And I haven't talked to anyone besides you today because I slept long. Yay, I'm so proud that I slept long. Thank you so much for being here. I would really appreciate if you like this live stream. Thank you for being here, honestly. It makes it fun and exciting. Also when people are responding, you know. So thanks, Coffee Unicorn Savage, for commenting. My rats always climb up on my leg. Okay, bye bye.